Oh,
Hello, Isaac. Welcome, sir.
Isaac,
Hi.
welcome.
How
Hello,
are you,
Rick.
my friend?
How are you? Fine. I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
Good. And do you know Mircea Dan Duta?
Yes, yes.
Good.
Mircea is old friends.
Good, good. A wonderful writer. You're both wonderful writers.
Oh, thank you, sir.
We're going to talk to you about your life first, and then we'll have
Yeah,
you read some poetry, okay? And I was
yeah.
going to suggest, and Mircea had a great idea, to have you read some in Hebrew as well as in English, if that's okay.
Yes, yes. I have some poet in Hebrew and English.
Initially, originally, do you write in Hebrew or in English?
Ah, I started to write poems in Hebrew. And
Okay.
when I was 13 old, I started to translate my poems to English. And
And
and after then, after year and year, now the poems came to me in English.
Ah,
In
ah,
English now, it's amazing, but the music come in English, not in Hebrew,
okay.
and it was very nice for me.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have the great good fortune to bring with you today my good friend and brother, Mircea Dan Duta, who is my co-host, and the charming and talented Mr. Isaac Cohen of Israel. Isaac, welcome, sir.
Yeah, welcome, my friend and my editor, and friendship of more festivals and more meeting and all. Mm.
Let
happy to
me
be
uh,
here.
let me start our questions off, sir. Um,
Yes.
some artists don't really start writing until they're in their 20s or 30s or 40s. Other authors begin writing when they were very young. How was it with you, sir? Did you start writing when you were young, or did you start a little later in life?
Ah, uh, uh, when I was 17 years old, I closed my eyes when I was in my home in Beersheba, and I write and I wrote the first poem,
Ah,
and after more and more poems and poems and in Hebrew and English and all all poems.
But
okay, okay.
at
Now,
the beginning,
some artists, in addition to their writing, they also paint or they play music or they dance. Did you have other arts in your interest as well, or were you really kind
Ah,
of focused as writing?
no, I am. I love to paint. I love to be actor in Jewish religious. There are some holidays that you transfer your body and your clothes and make a festival, and I love it, and I loved to write joke and story and to take photographs sometime and play 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 football and play basket and athletic, all around the meaning that that poet must to play and read and make sure to be with friends and with a muse, and it's very nice, very good for me.
Actually, you mentioned here a lot of other different preoccupations besides poetry. This is so wonderful. You have a very rich preoccupations, and you are interested in a lot of things. My question is, in which measure are they connected to poetry? In which measure are they helping poetry, or are they inspired by poetry? For instance, you mentioned dancing or playing football or being an actor. And actually, even if I have to admit I didn't know about your acting, I was a little bit supposing, expecting you to have this hobby. How, in which way does all this connect to poetry? In which way is all this inspired by poetry, or by contrary, inspires your poetry?
Yes. When I go to the exhibition of paint, and I saw the exhibition, the draw. My muse walk, and I wrote a poem about the draw. And sometimes when I was in the dancing, I saw the muse or around or replace of the situation, and I wrote about this, and about in the football. I look one jump the other side, and the other play the jump or kick something, and this is give me the muse to write about this. All the picture that I look is caused me to write poems. I can look my finger, and the muse came and send me a poem.
It is very interesting, actually. All those things are inspiring your poetry, as far as I
Yes.
understand. All
Yes.
those are inspiration
Yes.
sources for
I look my wife, and the poems come.
Well, actually, yes, we have to admit that sometimes wives are very strong inspirational poetry sources. So I can understand this this claiming of yours, and I admire you for this. But I mean, writing a poem inspired by your finger. This is really sensational, and you are one of the few people able to do so. But tell me, please, what Rick asked you, when did you start writing poetry? I would like to know what did inspire you then at the beginning, when your preoccupations weren't so numerous as today. In short, what determined you to write your first verse, your first poem in your life?
I remember when I was 3 years, my my grandmother took me to look about the children of the school, and she gave me a small cat and wire, and I go with the cat, and we look the children of the school. This is I thought this is the start of the poet. To look about something, and after to what is the experience you look, or to go maybe to the bus and look something, and what like a journalist. I look the people ask him and love him and pay attention. Maybe it is a small piece of something, and the poet is touches this.
Sir, let
This
me
is
ask you a question about you started writing at 17. Is there there's a word in English, they say a scene. In many American cities there is a poetry scene where you can go to this nightclub, or you can go to this park, or you can go to this library and do poetry readings. Is that similar? Is there something like that in Israel as well?
Yes, in Israel, when I started to write a poem, I met some friend that wrote poems, and started to go to workshop with poet, יהודה עמיחי, עמוס עוז, דן צלקה, אגי משעול, and I go to the library, and all of where I listen about poetry or about exhibition, I came, I spoke with the people. I make a friendship, and all. I'm I am active of culture in Tel Aviv. I go to the meeting of poets and prose and sometimes interdisciplinary poet and photograph or draw and poets. I go. I come in.
Mircea, you want to ask another question or two?
Yes, actually, I was prepared to ask something connected to it because it seems very interesting to me that Isaac comes from a very multicultural environment and moves within such an environment, which inspires him to write his poetry. And as it seems, it determined also the beginning of his poetry. It inspired him to write his first poetry. I was very much amazed by this concept of journalism, of individual journalism as a source of poetry. Do you still feel today this? Do you still have today this feeling, dear Isaac? I mean, do you still feel that writing around you, around yourself, and being inspired to poetry looks still a little bit like observing the world as a journalist, as you used to feel when you were a small kid and when you told that impressive story about the cat and your grandma going to watch children in the school. So do you still feel like a journalist discovering the world towards poetry?
Yes, because I sometimes I like a cat. The cat look and nobody know that she look, and people don't know that I'm the cat. I'm the cat. And I look and I watch, and when I look injustice or maybe some people don't behave good, I am what, and I was a poet. I wrote and I sent to the people that look at about this and speak about this and touch what is, what happened, what to do, what is it's much important to play this.
Well, actually, I think this. Sorry.
Yesterday, before 5 years, I walk in the street in Ramat Gan, and I listen people scream, amen, amen. And the man, small man, big, a small man, and shy, and tell him, what? And he tell him, you took the fruit of me and didn't pay. And he asked him, this is you throw in the corner. not and the sales tell him, no, you must pay about food. And he told him, it's $5. And the man tell him, take $5 and take your shame. And I was the cat that look it and come to the situation, and was a journalist that sent the poem to the people and the situation and the fight. Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. Okay.
Would you say, as a writer today, are there any topics that you address on a regular basis? Do you typically write about love, or do you typically write about the family, or do you write about political matters? What kind of themes do you like to address as a writer?
Yes. Now I love to write about love. I love my darling, and I love my daughter. I love to write about charity or people that help something, or to help child, or to help mother, or to help homeless, or people that weak in the society.
When you were a younger writer, were there any writers that particularly spoke to you that you felt were inspiring? And the second part of that question is, were they Hebrew writers, English writers? What inspired you most when you were a younger writer?
Yehuda Amichai, he was a great poet of Israel, and I learned with him, and I learned to make gedicht, because when you inspire, sometimes it was very hard and very small and very long, and he learned me to take the inspire, the experience, and make it small and big, to make something hard, not spread and spread and spread and spread, and after you go. Make it small and Gedicht in the Germany, in Deutsch. And I love to write a small poem like this. Isaac Cohen, I breathe the peace. I breathe the peace with us, the people, the animals, the flowers. How marvelous is the pleasantness that wrapped our creation. It is touch and fight the people, or about peace. Small poems. Isaac Cohen, peace. I drank 40, 40 tumbler of foam, like a drawn card. Please give me a bottle of peace to cure their disease.
Nice and short and sweet. Mircea, I think you
Yes.
had a question.
Yes, actually, this inspired me to, well, I had actually somehow prepared, and I wanted to somehow to send it to you because I know it is one of your favorite questions, dear Rick, concerning the role, the social, the responsibility role of the writer, of the author within today's world. What do you think, Isaac? Is this a must for an author? Does the author have to assume some responsibility for the world he or she is writing within? And in the same time, connected to it, I was very much I was amazed by this, because actually this was a question I prepared, because the most of Isaac's poem are very concentrated, 3 or 4 verses in which he expresses a lot. So actually he answered this question before we had the time to raise it. So for now, what about this responsibility? What do you think, Isaac? Does this belong to an author?
Yeah. Yeah. The poet responsibility about the weak in the social group, about homeless, about the poor man, about the wife, the woman, about to give some salary minimum for to be life to the people, and he must to scream that the government is must listen and pay attention about his word. And the poet must to play about the social people. This is my my long poem, but you can see that sometimes people he was right for people, and God is like him. Isaac Cohen, the king of the world. God called to Daniel, I saw your ripped shoes. Tomorrow, Archangel Michael will give you new shoes. Daniel said, no, some people need help before me. First, we must take Alexandra to the Rahab Center for Alcoholics. Yesterday, I heard Alexandra's child crying. Mommy, stop buying mezcal. My lips are sore for the alcohol. Second, we must take Bonita del Pedro to a boarding school. She has got friendly with criminals. And then we must help Allegra, the widow who is alone raising 5 children and is all day long doing laundry in rich houses. God embraced him and said, "You beat me, Daniel. You are the king of the world. You are the king of the world." And this is teach the people that poet or man must to help other people before him. And I have other other about the poet or the teacher in the societies. Isaac Cohen, the product of giving. I visited the child. I noticed that there were no books in his home. I told him, I gave you a book. If you read it, I will give you another book. The child read the book. I gave him another book, 1 and 2, and the words came into his heart, and he became a poet. How marvelous to see the produce of grace. It gives encouragement to the child's soul. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Actually, those two last poems, I think they are very expressive for the role, for the responsibility of the poet towards the society, as you put it. Don't you think, Rick?
Absolutely, absolutely. When we as poets uh, speak to some of the challenges, some of the roles that we undertake, I think yes, absolutely. These are our shared goals for our society as poets, that we speak to these things. Let me ask you this, sir. What kind of work do you do to help you afford to be a poet, if you don't mind me asking? Are you a teacher? Are you?
Yes. I work in the I work manager of archive in the company of insurance. I work with paper and paper and paper. I love paper, and I love I love to write. I love to uh, I love to read all newspaper and letter and computer and all.
That raises an interesting question. I think it raises
I
an
love
interesting
to read
question.
all. Yes.
Me too. Me too. You know, we are aware of some of the ancient libraries that were lost, right? The Library of Alexander, other libraries around the world that have in history been lost, been destroyed. As you work in an archive, we have particular challenges now to preserve information for the future. When we have our information stored not so much on books, not so much in sheets of paper, but in little digital archives in memory banks somewhere. How do you think, and well, let me ask you this, how do you prepare to store your own writing? How are you, what kind of archives do you have? Do you have paper? Do you have computer, or do you have both?
Uh, well, both paper and computer, and sometimes is the interdisciplinar facts, or maybe something in a disk of a computer. But I think that the paper is still forever. This is my thought. Because the computer maybe is damaged, or maybe delete the paper or the data, and no, what can we do? But if this with paper you can renew, or you can make it about copy and save in another place. And I think that the poet is still right about in the paper. Computer sometimes is good, but you can go with computer all the place, and all the train or the bus, go with the, but paper, you can go a piece of paper and write, and this.
Well, we've come to the part of the program, having learned a little bit about you, we'd like to hear some of your poems. And I was going to say, You know, a lot of times when we all go to the Zoom poetry readings, we're sort
Yeah.
of forced to only share the short ones, the small ones. I want you to share some of your poetry, but if you have some longer ones you'd like to share that you don't get a chance to share all the time, please
Ah,
feel free, read us some of your work, and you're welcome to read in both English and Hebrew if you'd like.
ah,
And even though I don't speak Hebrew, I'm sure that in our audience there
ah.
are people who only speak Hebrew.
Wait a minute. Wait. Ah, I don't. Wait a minute. No. I don't. I read the poem that I read before in Hebrew about the teacher that visit in the home of the child. יצחק כהן, התוצר של החסד. ביקרתי בביתו של ילד. הבחנתי שאין בו ספרים. אמרתי לו, אתן לך ספר. אם תקרא אותו, אביא לך ספר אחר. הילד קרא את הספר. נתתי לו ספר אחר, ועוד אחד ושניים, והאותיות נכנסו אל ליבו, והוא נעשה משורר. כמה נפלא לראות את תוצר החסד. זה מעודד את נפש הילד. Hallelujah. And I have a poem in English. This is to my mother, blessed memory, Mazal Cohen. Daniel, no, Isaac Cohen. Dream. Daniel received a bow and arrow from his mother. She commanded, shoot. Daniel said, Mom, I can't do it. My finger so soft. I can only react with special word to my attacker. My body is full of stabs. Only sophisticated word can relax my vulnerability. And now I read a poem that dedicated to my niece's daughter, Ella Beaton. Isaac Cohen, again with love. I read a book to my niece's daughter. When I finish reading, she begs me. Again, I read once more and she asks. Again, I wish that when at my great old age, I read her a book, she will request again. And now I read some in Hebrew, יצחק כהן, בטירת המים. בטירת המים חלומות נושקים. בטירת המים מלאכים שתים. בטירת המים אני שייט ואין עימי משוטים. And other of Hebrew. Yes. This is a poem that I wrote about Jacob. Jacob was invalid, and when I was young, I loved to play with in football. יצחק כהן, יעקב 4 רגליים. אהבתי לשחק כדורגל, בייחוד עם יעקב. 4 רגליים לאחד. הוא נמרץ ומתרוצץ, בועט ברגלו ומכפכב את המקלות בתנופה. משחקים בוומבלי שלנו, מרצפות במרפסת החצר. יעקב מאיר את עיניי, קורא אליי דרור. הכל יפה ילד, גם גול מעל, גם קורה מתחת. אהבתי את המשחק איתו, ואיתו צחקתי. כי היו 4 רגליים לאחד, ולא היה מלאך שדמה, רק צחוקים של מלאכים צעירים בקרת, שאוהבים לשחק בחיים. This is a poem. I love it because she returned me to the child, and when you're young, you play and happy and don't pay attention about what is and what is. You are happy, you are playing, don't look about if it's invalid or that. You make happy to the world. You are the poet of the world. You are an angel. And now other poet in Hebrew that I love. Isaac Cohen, פיית השקט. הו פיית השקט, בואי אל גני, עטופה בטל רווי תקווה, נטי את אוהלך אצלי, הבי מרגוע לנפשי, צוהר פתחי לנשמתי, אחר אגפת חלוני, הסירי מהומת יום, תני לליבי זוהר, חלום לפגוע אופקים, הביטי אל פניי, תני ללחיי צבע של תקווה ואור, הבי תרבות להכיל ודי. And now poem in English that I love, that is about the muse.
Okay.
Yes. To my darling, Yonat Cohen Peltz. Isaac Cohen, my darling, you flew over my florid eyes like a humming bird. You sip my nectar. Did you have your fill? You sipped and moved on like a muse, feeding me a small piece. Me. Thus goes on our story. We will laugh together for eternity. We will laugh together for eternity. And
Very nice, sir. Very nice.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank
We've
you.
got about 10 minutes left. So why don't
Yes.
you do the last couple in English, okay?
Yes. This poem dedicated to my daughter, Noam Cohen Peltz, because I saw him like me, want to help him, other child, great child. Isaac Cohen, the homeless man. The homeless man licked crumbs from the garbage. He drank the coffee greens that passers by threw away. My daughter said, Papa, how miserable is the man. She gave him her sandwich. The homeless man lifted his hand and prayed. Thank God for the moment of grace. And the last, Isaac Cohen. Picture. The child asked his mother, Mommy, buy me ballet slippers. The cat listened and saw a barefooted wayfarer lifting his hand in prayer, saying, God, please give me new feet. Thank you, Isaac Cohen, Israel. Thank you, Rick, and thank you, Mircea. Thank you, all the people in the world that listen me. And if maybe one people help for the weak in the society, or help women or men, or someone that must help, it is my thanks. My thanks. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Isaac Cohen, for your wonderful
Thank you.
poetry. Thank you very much also for stressing and for describing in such a personal and generous manner the role and the responsibility of the poet towards the world and towards the society around him or her. And mainly thank you so much for your wonderful poems in Hebrew, in English, and also melodies. Maybe maybe during a future transmission with you, we will dedicate this to your music, to your poems and music, because it is another not so well known facet of your creation, of your work. Thank you for revealing us also.
Yes. I forget to tell that that I was a translator, and I translate poem of Panchuri Sina and Anna Maria Stephanie and Maria. Mariela Cordero, and the poem of Rachim Karimov that maybe soon we finish to edit a translation, a book of the poem of Rachim, and he published it in English and English and Hebrew. And my poem, some of my friends translate my poem to Romanish, to Spanish, to English, Italki, Hindi, to Russian, to Bengali, and now Tom Philip try to translate my poem from English to Bulgarian. And all.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for your honor. And
your work is getting international, and it really deserves it. Thank you very
yes.
much for a wonderful evening.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was Isaac Cohen, one of the most exquisite poets in Israel, writing both in Hebrew and English. And it was another episode of Poets of the East, dedicated this time to a poet from the from this country, from Israel, and brought to you by the main producer of the program, Rick Spisak, and by Mircea Dan Duta, his colleague and associate producer. Have a wonderful evening wherever you are.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Good night.
Thank you, Rick, and thank you, Mircea.